In their free time, Goku, Chi-Chi, and Gohan go on a picnic, along with Raditz and Gine, since it wasn't their turn to go in the time chamber yet. The World Defense Force tried to attack Cell, which to no one's surprise, did nothing against the monster, and they were all killed quickly. After hearing this, Goku asked Gine to teleport him to the lookout so he can speak to Piccolo, which when he gets there he mentions his plan about going to New Namek to get a new guardian, since Kami and Piccolo can't separate, which Gine gladly teleports Goku to New Namek, and Mori suggests that Dende becomes the next guardian of Earth, so they teleport with him to the lookout. Meanwhile, on the news, Hercule announces that he is going to fight Cell, which is when Goku and Gine arrive to also teleport Krillin and Gohan up to the lookout to see Dende. So, once on the lookout, Dende uses the model of the Dragon Shenron to remake the Dragon Balls, along with upgrading them to grant more wishes. Goku allows Gohan to stay on the lookout to spend time with Dende, and says that he doesn't need to train anymore. He then leaves to get the Dragon Radar, so that he can find the Dragon Balls ahead of time. Regardless, the day of the Cell games finally arrived, as the heroes got ready to go to the arena. Hercule arrived first, and he had tried to taunt Cell, but he was just ignored. Vegeta then arrived first, then Android 16, and lastly all the other heroes, which included Goku, Gohan, Gine, Raditz, Future Trunks, Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien. Android 16 came to thank Krillin for getting him repaired, and Goku then tried to introduce himself, but number 16 quickly reminded Goku that he was made to kill him, and that he shouldn't forget that. Goku was going to be the one to go first, but Hercule kept interrupting, so Krillin just told Goku to let him go first. So, Hercule stepped up first and still tried to demonstrate his strength by smashing tiles, but once he rushes at Cell, he's just easily swatted away, so Goku steps up on the stage next. Once the fight starts between the two, they go blow for a while, so Goku is ordered to try and kamehameha, but is easily knocked away by Cell. After this, Cell knocks Goku down to the ground, but he gets up unscathed, which is when Cell says that this should be enough of a warm-up. So, Goku and Cell both power up, and Goku seemingly seems to be winning at first, but Cell gets back up and smirks since he's enjoying this fight. Though, when Cell eventually uses the kamehameha, since Goku doesn't know the instant transmission, he must resort to swatting it away and upwards, so it doesn't hit the planet. Regardless, the two go back to fighting, but Cell seemingly has the upper hand now. After a little bit of this, Goku almost got knocked out of the ring, so Cell got rid of that role by destroying the arena. Goku still tries to use his full powered kamehameha against Cell, but since he doesn't have the instant transmission to teleport right in front of Cell, he taunts him like Vegeta did, so that Cell would take the brunt of the attack. Regardless, Cell regenerates and starts to beat down Goku, which is when he starts to get tired out. Meanwhile, while Bulma and Master Roshi are watching the fight on TV, Roshi mentions that Goku, and he knows it, so he doesn't know what his plan is. Trunks was going to interfere and give him a sensu bean, but Vegeta yelled at him not to, since he knows Goku would rather die than win that way. They realize that Goku can't win, and Vegeta admits to being 2 steps behind Goku, and that their only hope is Goku's plan, whatever that may be. However, much to everyone's shock, Goku forfeits and asks if he can choose the next person to go against Cell. After Cell agrees, Goku chooses Gohan, which is another shock to everyone, to the point that even Piccolo thinks Goku has lost his mind. Regardless, Gohan agrees to enter the fight and takes off his weighted clothing, which is when Goku asks Krillin for a sensu bean, which he then throws it to Cell. After Cell eats it, Gohan powers up, and the two start fighting, though they seem to be evenly matched at first. As the fight goes on, Gohan tries to convince Cell to stop this battle, as it is pointless and that he doesn't like to fight, and doesn't want to kill anyone, but Cell refuses once Gohan reveals that he gets stronger when he gets angry. Cell tries to injure Gohan to draw out his anger, but this isn't working, as the heroes just watch on in horror. Goku doesn't step in to stop this, so Piccolo tries to get it through to him that Gohan doesn't like fighting, and that Goku basically sent him into his death. He also says that rage isn't going through Gohan's mind, that he's instead wondering why his dad won't help him when he is getting hurt like this. So, Goku asks for a sensu bean from Krillin, while Cell realizes that this isn't making Gohan angry, so he decides to do something to his friends and family instead. So, he takes the bag of sensu beans from Krillin, and then once Gohan charges at him, he knocks the boy away, saying that if he's going to get mad, he should do it for real. This is when number 16 steps in, grabs Cell, and tries to blow himself up, so that Cell will be taken out with him. However, Krillin reveals that he can't blow himself up, as Dr. Briefs removed the bomb from within the android. So, Cell blasts number 16, which just leaves his head behind, then kicks it away. At this point, Cell decides to make some Cell Juniors to fight the remaining heroes, but since Gine and Raditz are present in this timeline, he must make 9 instead of the usual 7, which he sends them after the other heroes to injure them, and says he doesn't care if they kill him. As Gohan sees his friends and family get beat down, his anger starts to rise, but it hasn't reached the point of boiling over quite yet. Back with number 16's disembodied head, he asks Hercule to take him over to Gohan, which, after he gets a little bit closer, he does throw the head over so it lands at Gohan's feet. Number 16 then tells Gohan it wasn't wrong to fight for a good cause, and that some people like Cell won't listen to words, so he'd have to let his anger go. He knows how he feels, but says he doesn't have to hold back. Android 16 then asks him to protect the forest and animals that he grew to love, which is when Cell walks over and crushes 16's head beneath his foot, which, as we all know, this is the usual moment that Cell messed up, as this was the catalyst to cause Gohan's anger to boil over, which makes him transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Which, after his transformation finishes, he easily takes the senzu beans back from Cell. He then goes on to kill the Cell Juniors, with him taking out all 9 of them with one hit each. He then tosses the senzu beans to Trunks and tells him to give one to everyone. As Cell asks Gohan if he really thinks that he can beat him, the other heroes start to get further away from Cell. Gohan just arrogantly replies with, "What do you think?" which causes Cell to power up to his full power. Cell then flies in to try and attack the young boy, but he easily dodges or blocks Cell's attacks as they come at him. Then, when he starts to attack the creature back, even just a couple of punches injure Cell, to the point that his nose starts bleeding. Since none of Cell's attacks work, and he's easily getting pummeled, he resorts to using kamehameha at full power, since if Gohan dodges it, the Earth will be destroyed. So, Gohan just counters with his own kamehameha at the last second, which sends both beams into Cell. This greatly injures the bug-like creature, as one of his arms and both of his legs would have been vaporized in the blast. Goku tries to yell to his son to finish off Cell, but Gohan just replies that Cell deserves to suffer more before he dies. Goku tried to yell to finish the fight off now, and that he shouldn't let Cell get desperate, but the young boy ignored his father's pleas. Cell then regenerated his limbs that were destroyed in the blast and tried to power up even further. Though, this basically became the thing he mocked Trunks for, a slow and bulky form that was blinded by his rage. Eventually, Gohan hit the creature so hard that he vomited out number 18, much to everyone's shock. This, of course, caused Cell to revert to his semi-perfect form, which angered him even more. So, he resorted to swelling himself as he was preparing to self-destruct in 60 seconds, which would take out the whole Earth with him, thus causing the Cell games to end in a draw. Gohan went to attack him, but Cell warned him that this would just cause him to explode earlier than usual. Since there was nothing else Gohan could do, he regretted not listening to his father and admitted that this was all his fault for not ending it sooner. Normally, this is where Goku would step in with the instant transmission, but he doesn't have it in this timeline, so instead, it's Gine that steps in as she says goodbye to her sons and everyone else. Once in front of Cell, Gine looks to her grandson and says, "You did great, Gohan. Me and your father are proud of you. I'm glad I got the chance to meet my sons and grandchildren, though I'm sorry that it had to end like this." She then teleports away, with her still ending up on King Kai's planet. As mentioned in the previous part, she went there when trying to find new Namek, because she would know about it. Which, this was the only place she could think to go to. Regardless, right after she arrives, Cell explodes, taking out Gine, King Kai, Bubbles, and his planet with him. Which, back on Earth, they sense that her key is gone, and Gohan starts to have the same breakdown he did after Goku died in the manga, as he reverts to his Super Saiyan form. However, instead of Krillin going to comfort Gohan, Krillin would go and move number 18 off the battlefield. Anyway, it would be Goku trying to comfort his son this time around. He would apologize for making his son fight, but would say that it was over. When Gohan tried to say it was his fault for not listening to his warning, Goku would say it was okay and that mistakes happen. Anyway, the Earth wouldn't have been saved without his power, which, up in the other world, Gine would be with King Kai and Bubbles. She would apologize for getting his planet destroyed, but would notice Cell's soul isn't there, which makes her, and King Kai, realize that Cell isn't dead. Back on Earth, as Vegeta was telling Krillin to get rid of number 18, they sense a key appear back on Earth as dust is kicked up from the now returned energy. In the confusion, a blast comes out of the cloud of dust, which shoots Trunks through the chest. As the dust clears, it reveals Cell standing there, now in his super perfect form. Cell will then go on to explain how he survived and became stronger because of his Saiyan cells. At this point, Gohan quickly turned back into his Super Saiyan 2. However, before he got a chance to charge at Cell, an enraged Vegeta yelled out and flew in, since his son was seemingly killed. He quickly became a Super Saiyan and unleashed a volley of blasts on Cell, which stirred up another cloud of dust. The Cell came flying out of the dust and easily swatted the Saiyan Prince away, so that he hit the ground. As he went to kill Vegeta, Gohan jumped in the way, which Cell's blast ended up incapacitating one of the young boy's arms. At this point, Cell had enough of this, so he landed on the ground and started to charge his solar kamehameha, which would destroy the Earth along with the solar system. Vegeta, after he realized he was just a liability, apologized to Gohan, which made the young boy realize that the prince thought that there was no hope for them. Regardless, as Gohan is on the verge of giving up, Goku tells him not to, as he can do it and to believe in himself. At this point, Gine would also talk to him from the other world with King Kai's help, saying not to give in, and to show her his strength one last time. So, Gohan would start to charge a kamehameha, so he could fulfill the wishes of his father and grandmother. They would realize Gohan doesn't have enough energy, so Goku would join in with his own kamehameha, also, just like in the manga, but instead of Goku's, Gine's spirit was behind him as well, using a blast of her own. While the kamehamehas of Cell and Gohan were in a stalemate, Vegeta threw a blast at Cell, which provided enough of a distraction for the combined blast to be able to overtake Cell's, thus vaporizing the bug-like monster once and for all. After the smoke clears, Gohan collapses on the ground out of exhaustion, and Goku picks him up to take him to the lookout. Vegeta, however, doesn't say he'll never fight again and fly off, since Goku is still around. Regardless, both Hercule and Jimmy Firecracker get up at this time, with him asking Hercule where Cell went, and as usual, Hercule steals all the credit of defeating Cell. Meanwhile, up on the lookout, number 18 awakens and is quickly told by Krillin that Cell was killed by Gohan. Piccolo still says she should thank Krillin, since he cared for her after Cell vomited her out, which is when Gohan butts in, as he realized Krillin was in love with her. 18 quickly leaves after this, and Piccolo goes to summon a dragon, which number 18 comes back and hides once seeing the sky get dark, which piqued her curiosity. Anyway, they wish all the people had died at the hands of Cell to be revived, which everyone comes back except Gine. When they try to wish her back in a separate wish, Gine tells them from the other world that she didn't want to be revived, as she didn't believe there was anything else she wanted to do / needed to do in the living world. Krillin then uses a second wish to remove the bombs from number 17 and number 18. After this, number 18 still reveals herself when Krillin gets the wrong idea, and informs them that number 17 is her brother, though number 18 then says, "later," and takes off, which gives Krillin at least a little bit of hope of seeing her again. After this, everyone else except Piccolo leaves the lookout, and the next day, Trunks goes back to the future.